Beaver Nation, what's happening? It's Coach Canham here, and I am joined by a very special alumni, Stefen Romero, the man, the myth, the legend. It looks like he's joining us from somewhere really warm. I'm guessing, nope, still a little chilly outside. Well, we're not wearing jackets, and you're here in the Northwest. It's beautiful, baby. Steph, thanks for joining us, man.
No
Happy
problem.
to have you on here.
Of course. Thanks for having me on, guys.
You got it, dude. I'm just excited because I get to see your face, and every now and then you come on down here too and get to hang out with the guys. Obviously, showing them the skills with the bat, but I've also seen the skills on the golf course as well. And I don't know, man, maybe you're spending too much time on the links, dude, over these years because the golf game's looking electric.
I mean, you got to do something when, I'm not playing ball anymore. I just recently retired. Last year I was out in Mexico City. So, I got to enjoy the Northwest beautiful summers now. And I was like, okay, maybe I should just get out on the links a lot more. So, that's one thing I did this summer, and I'm down to a 3 handicap. What do you know?
Yeah, 3 handicap. You could be kidding me. No wonder everyone, when we're talking about alumni weekend, everyone's like, well, who's going to go after who? And Darwin already kicked me off on his team because he said he wanted to win the thing.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even know what my handicap is now. But there's no time for golf yet. We'll worry about that later on. Anyway,
Exactly.
We got a couple questions we're going to get after you with. Would love to hear you elaborate on some of them. Let's start with number 1. Who was your best OSU teammate? And give us a Beaver story that you and us will never forget.
So my favorite Beaver teammate kind of corresponds with my OSU story. So Alberto Santos, shout out to Santos Crunch. He was my roommate for 2 years at Oregon State, and my best Oregon State story was actually before we even got to campus. So we had our preliminary fly out visit. I was coming from New York. I think he was coming from New Mexico or something. So I had no idea who this guy was. I just saw, okay, he was going to be on my visitation trip. His name's Alberto Santos. I'm looking up his stats on social media or on Google. Googled him. There's, no pictures or anything of him back then. So I just see his stats. Insane stats. He was hitting like 400, 500 in JUCO, like 18 homers. I was like, this guy has to be 6'5", 230. I'm like, this guy is, this guy's a monster. So we end up flying. I fly into Phoenix. He flies into Phoenix. I have no idea, granted, that he's flying, the same airline as me to Portland. And I get to the airport, and I see this, skinny, like Puerto Rican kid, like waiting at, the Portland gate in Phoenix. And he had his Beats headphones on. He had a tracksuit on. And I'm like, there's no way this guy's going to Oregon. Like, he's a Puerto Rican. I'm like, he has to be a baseball player. So I look over, and obviously, junior college and baseball, like, guys, chew or, chewing tobacco. I don't condone chewing tobacco, but at the time, he looks at me because we're like making eye contact. He looks at me, and then he gets his can of dip and he just starts packing it, and it throws in a dip. I'm like, that has to be a baseball player, 100%. So I think nothing of it. We get to Portland, and Ron Northcutt, who was picking us up from the airport, I get into the car, and then 10 seconds later, here comes Santos. Thick accent from the Bronx, New York. And I go, I knew it was you. And then he's like, I knew you were Stefen Romero. And then, that's how I first met, my 2-year roommate, and then now one of my best friends for over, 14, 15 years. So it was just funny every time we tell that story, we reminisce about, how we kind of met each other in the Phoenix airport. So, that's my, I guess my Beaver story right there.
Funny how you guys both were researching each other, trying to get ready to meet one another, but also you said skinny little guy, and I seen him recently, man. He's not skinny anymore. He looks like he can lift a house, right?
Looks like a linebacker now.
He does. I might have to get him on one of these calls too, but I don't know how he's going to fit in the frame because the
Oh,
guy
I
is
know, he's just so big.
Love it, man. You guys are both amazing to be around. All right, question number 2. So you've traveled the world, like played here in the States at the big league level, and you traveled the world playing baseball. What was it like when you were traveling to adapt to a new part of the world and a new culture?
Well, a lot of research. Obviously, after I signed my contract to go overseas to Japan, I just started doing my research, like how to be successful abroad, how to be successful in Japan. And, there's been a lot of foreigners prior to me going over. So I know there was some articles, some news articles written somewhere on the internet. So I looked up how to be successful, or advice, how to be successful in Japan. And looked it up, and, I read probably 2, 3, 4 articles, and it said the same exact thing. Don't focus on the money first and foremost.
Mm-hmm.
Focus on the culture and immersing yourself in the culture and trying to, fit in with the teammates, learn the language, try the food, and just try to immerse yourself in the culture. Once I did that, I felt like everything meshed together. I felt like I was a part of a unit. I was part of the team. They accepted me with open arms because I was in their country playing their baseball style. So they didn't want any animosity or any pullback with a foreigner coming in, which they've probably experienced, year after year after year. You get some good apples, you get some bad apples. And, that's what I went into knowing when I went to Japan. Just try to, the baseball is going to take care of itself as long as I just follow my routine and play the way I know how. But second, just, immerse yourself in the culture. And I had no culture shock. Obviously, the language barrier was a little tough at first, but, we had translators pretty much readily available to us. So that's, one thing that I learned playing overseas. And just, just the culture in general, just the style of baseball, just the way they go about their business, the fundamentals over there, truly are the most important things. Practice is, they literally preach practice makes perfect. So, that's one thing I took from my days playing over in Japan.
Well, I noticed on seeing some stuff on social media, you're actually using Japanese in some of your posts as well. So did you learn a lot of the language?
I do know a little bit of the language. Nihongo wa amari hanasemasen, demo kiko no wakarimasu. To all my Japanese people watching this, you probably know what that means. It means I can speak Japanese, but only if you speak slowly to me. So that's one tidbit I usually like to go into. And obviously I can understand it for the most part in context. With anything, like if you're learning Spanish, you could kind of feel the context of what you're talking about and kind of piece things together. But yeah, I mean, I had a blast there, and I would do it again.
That's awesome, man. It was fun watching from afar too, and seeing as you came back on alumni weekend, and just seeing how it has changed you as well for the better as well. And a lot of our guys were always very curious, looking off to the side. Hey, tell me about him, man. What should I go talk to him? I was like, go ahead, man. It's about as social as it is.
Open book.
Yeah. All right. Last one. What are you up to now, and what fills your cup on a day-to-day basis?
Golf, of course. Okay. That doesn't fill up the cup, but I mean that gets it halfway.
Yeah.
Just doing a little bit of everything. My time over in Japan, I had a lot of free time: bus rides, train rides. Driving back and forth 30 minutes to the field on game day every day, listen to podcasts on, investing, real estate, how to manage your money after baseball. So I was doing this while I was playing, and, it kind of, it prepared me for life after baseball. And I recently just retired about a year ago now. So, having that plan in place for me just catapulted me, for future endeavors and whatever I want to take on. So with that being said, I'm doing a little bit of, here at my house here in Woodburn area. I do private hitting lessons. I have a batting cage here at my house. Um, and then I also do real estate, do a lot of real estate actually, do a lot of luxury real estate up in Paradise Valley, Scottsdale, Arizona area. And if you don't know, I'm from Tucson, Arizona, so I have a lot of roots in Arizona. Um, and then I'm going to be working with next season, starting March, as an international scout for a third party scouting firm that specializes in Japanese, Asian market, finding guys like myself to transition to go over to Japan. So that's what I'll be doing come March.
What don't you do? You're no good at everything. That's so cool how no matter where you've gone, you've continued to learn, you've continued to adapt, continued to embrace those around you. I think that's part of what makes you so amazing, man, is that everyone wants to be around you. I wish you weren't living all the way up in Woodburn. I wish you were here locally.
Yeah, I'm only 45 minutes away.
Yeah. Well, I mean, right now for me, like Albany is a long ways away. I live
I
a
know.
mile from campus, so it's like outside of that mile radius,
Oh, yeah.
I don't get out much.
Perfect.
So,
I'll
Steph,
definitely drop by. I'll definitely show my face and show my face more. So,
I
thanks,
love it,
Mitch.
man. You're a great man, Steph. Thanks for taking the time jumping on with me, and I know Beaver Nation's going to be excited to hear from you.
Perfect. Thanks, Mitch. Appreciate it.
Later, brother. Go Beavs.
Go Beavs.